The easiest way to get to the login portal is to go to the dsb1.ca website. Click on the e-learning link and then click on Course Login. This brings you to the login portal. Note that you could also type the exact URL into the URL box. I suggest at this point bookmarking the link so you can go back to it easily next time. Use your login credentials to log in. Then go to Select a Course and choose Credit Recovery Course Shell. This one says Master, but yours will have your school name. The teacher tool Classlist is useful for seeing the usernames of the students. It allows you to provide the student with their exact username. As well, you can reset passwords from this location. Click the drop-down arrow next to the student's name, choose Change Account Setting. You can then select Reset the Password and change it to what you want it to be, which you can then provide to the student. Next, if you wish to add participants to your class, you would go Add Participants, Add Existing Users. When you choose from here, you're selecting from all the users in Maplewood. So you can search for the name of the student that you would like to add. So we've searched for the demo student accounts, and I'll choose one of those accounts, select the role of student, and then select Enroll Selected Users. Done. So now Demo Student 6 has been added to the class list. We didn't highlight the email tool in this system because we thought it might be a burden to the student success teacher. So you could ask the students to communicate with you directly if they have an issue. There is also another location that's been enabled where they could ask questions in a discussion forum. So more on that later. The User Progress tool allows you to see how the student is doing on the content. It will show what activities they have done and how much time they have spent in each. Notice it shows how much time logged in, and it will show you what it is that they were looking at. So you can look at more specific summaries in terms of content, discussions, Dropboxes, quizzes, and checklists. It will tell you how much they have done within the course. The teacher view and the student view are quite different. The teacher can post messages, move around content, activate Dropboxes and quizzes, and can view the progress of any individual learner. Sometimes it's beneficial to see things from the perspective of the student, and there is an impersonation that can be done. You can look at a student account to either help determine a problem or possibly to give them some direction on the task. You can also go and look at the student's checklist to see what they have checked off their list as completed. Here are the steps for impersonating a student. Click the drop-down arrow, choose Impersonate. Say yes to suspending your own session. And then note that up in the corner here, it now shows that you are logged in as Demo Student 1. So I can go to the checklist and take a look at their geography checklist and see that nothing is checked off. Next, if we go to Content, we can show the student view. Note that they only see the course in which they are enrolled. They do see all of the units, and if they click on any individual unit, they can see all of the activities for that unit, but you will be telling them which unit and activity and assignment to complete. So for instance, if they were asked to do Unit 1, Activity 1, Mapping Review. They would click on the activity. They can then read the overview and expectations if they wish, go to Content, read the information in Content, and then click Assignment. It's under Assignment that they will see the assignment you've asked them to complete. So for instance, if you've told them Unit 1, Activity 1, Assignment 1, then they would come here and complete what is directed. You might tell them to complete Assignment 1 and 2, and so all the instructions are here on the assignment page. Next, the Discussions tool. Students can click the link on the discussion tool and be taken to the discussions that exist for the course. It really depends whether you're going to use the discussions or not. There may be one you'd like to use because you like the question they're being asked, and so you'd like them to develop an answer to that question, even though they won't be engaging in discussion with other students. So really the best way for them to access the discussion would be to start in Content. So you may ask a student to go to Activity 5 in a particular unit, and then under Assignment there is a link to a discussion. So all the instructions for the discussion is here, and then there is the link to enter the discussion. So that's why I recommend starting through Content always with the list of things that need to be completed for the credit recovery, which the teacher lists in the checklist tool. So the student can start a new thread, give it a title, and write the response here. And when they're done, they can post their response. The Dropbox tool is also on the navigation, and they can go directly to the list of Dropboxes. However, they should always work through the content area as described previously. So for whatever unit and activity for which there's work that's been assigned, they go to the assignment area, read the instructions, complete the activity, and hit the Dropbox. This will ensure that they get to the absolute correct Dropbox if they do it through Content. Then they would click Add a File to add their file, and then Submit. They cannot simply write an answer in the comment box. They have to attach a file. The student can also go directly to the Quiz tool. Note here there is just one quiz listed for this course. Some courses don't have any quizzes, and it's possible for there to be quizzes, but when the student visits here they don't see a quiz, and that's because the teacher has to enable that quiz or turn it on for a set period of time for the student to complete it, because it's essentially a type of test. In some cases they are used formatively in the learning, and in other cases they are used as a summative. So it just depends whether you are even planning to use the quizzes for credit recovery or whether you will use assignments instead, but they have been left in the courses in case you want to use them. Again, the student should go to Content, then the activity that you have asked them to complete, then the assignment page, and listed on that page will be a link to that quiz. Select the link to the quiz to go directly there. Hit Start Quiz, and then it will load to be completed. It is important that students save all their responses as they go. When you are done impersonating, you can go up to this area with the account information and click this X, and it will return you to your current session. Note that as the teacher manager of this environment, you can see everything, and so it's more challenging for you to look through the materials since we've put numerous courses into the same environment. So first let's look at Content. Note that you can see every course that's eligible for credit recovery on this list. Click on the course and it will open up the units, and then click on any unit that's of relevance in terms of determining the activities that the student will do for the credit recovery. Note that you're going to see an activity page and then 3 pages that are in draft form. The student can't see those draft pages. They can only see the activity page, but they do have links on that activity page that lead to these pages they can't see. So you need to sort of sort through that visually. Just know that the students can see all the content, and it's really the activity page that matters. So when you click on the activity page, it brings you to the overview. You can click over to expectations, then click over to content, and it's here the student would read all about whatever the topic, and then when they get to the end of that material, they should click this assignment button, which will bring them to the assignment page, which will have a discussion or an assignment to submit to the Dropbox, or possibly a quiz. Again, under all the tools, the teacher can see everything. So for instance, if you click on discussions, you will see all the discussions that exist for every single course in this environment. It does make it a challenge for the teacher, but if you have made a list through the checklist tool, you can use this as a guide to go and check the work that has been completed. Under Dropboxes, same thing. You can see there's 48 pages of Dropboxes. They are all organized in alphabetical order and then by unit. Quizzes, same thing. Note that just because you see a quiz doesn't mean a student sees it. So you would need to go into a quiz and activate it or make it available. Notice these ones say they're always available, which means that there's some kind of formative use in the course. But note that the ones, for instance, under math may need to be made available. Look at this one here. It says always available but inactive. So we go Edit, Restrictions, and in here you need to change the status to active. Note that you can create a start date and with an exact start time and an end date with an exact end time. Scrolling down, note that you can enforce a time limit. So you could say how many minutes they will have to do that test. So as soon as they click start on the test, then they will have that amount of time to complete the test. Once you've created those settings, you would go save and close. A little further explanation about the Dropboxes. So notice that when a student has handed in work, it will show a file number here. They can hand in multiple files to the same Dropbox. So when you have something to review, you would click the drop-down arrow and say View Submissions. If I scroll down, I can see my one submission, and when I click on it, it opens up in a place where you can mark that item. Now notice that the one I use as an example is quite small, but you will see something that is full size in this window for you to evaluate. You can give feedback here. You can also do a separate file where you add feedback, or you could choose not to add any feedback at all. Maybe you're writing your feedback on paper to determine whether what they've completed has satisfied that portion of the credit recovery. So it's not really necessary to do the evaluation in the environment. You could have the student return to see you to find out their performance on the credit recovery. If you are going to add feedback, you can hit publish, and then they will be able to see that feedback on their end. Note that on this folder list, you can indicate how many items you'd like to see per web page. So you could change this to 200, and now you can see I only have 5 pages of Dropboxes. This allows you to quickly scroll through to see if there is anything within a Dropbox for you to evaluate or assess. Finally, under the checklist tool, you can see all the checklists as well. There's one for every course. The students can only see the ones in which they are enrolled, and that will become clearer in the orientation video that explains how to use this environment.